The morning of September 10, 2001, was just another Monday in Manhattan. The city hummed with its usual energy, a symphony of yellow cabs and hurried footsteps. Down in Soho, among the chic boutiques and cast-iron facades, a young woman was shopping. Her name was Dr. Sneha Anne Philip. She was 31 years old, an Indian-American physician with a bright future. She moved through the aisles of a department store, a picture of modern life. She picked out some lingerie, a new dress, a pair of shoes. She used her husband's credit card. Everything seemed perfectly normal, just another day in the life of a New Yorker. But it wasn't. It was the last day anyone would see her for sure. Sneha was a woman of complexities, like the city she called home. She was a dedicated doctor, but her career had hit a rough patch. There were some personal struggles, whispers of a double life that her family didn't see. She had recently been let go from her medical residency and was facing some professional challenges. That afternoon, she was seen on security camera footage at the Century 21 department store, just across from the World Trade Center. The grainy images show her alone, holding shopping bags. It is the last confirmed sighting of Dr. Sneha Philip, a fleeting moment captured on tape, before she stepped out of the store and into a mystery that endures to this day. Later that evening, back in their small Battery Park City apartment, the phone rang, and rang. Her husband, Ron Lieberman, was at work. He called, expecting to hear her voice, but there was only silence on the other end. Where could she be? Maybe she was out with her brother or a friend, he thought. He tidied up their home, waiting. The hours ticked by, stretching into a long, quiet night. The shopping bags from her afternoon trip were never found in the apartment. The new shoes, the dress, the lingerie, all vanished, along with Sneha. The city outside was still whole, unaware of the chasm that was about to open. The apartment overlooked the majestic Twin Towers, guardians of the lower Manhattan skyline. They stood as silent witnesses to the empty apartment, to the unanswered calls. Ron eventually went to sleep, assuming Sneha had decided to stay with family after a late night out. He had no way of knowing that the world he would wake up to would be irrevocably broken. He couldn't have imagined that the search for his wife would become entangled with the greatest tragedy the city had ever known. The questions started small. Where did she go? Why didn't she call? Soon, they would be drowned out by a much larger, more terrifying question that would consume the entire nation. On the morning of September 11th, everything changed. A clear blue sky was shattered by smoke and fire. Ron watched from his office as the North Tower was hit. He called Sneha, desperate to know she was safe. Their apartment, just a block from the towers, was silent. The line was dead. Fear took over. Ron rushed home through chaos, desperate to find Sneha. The city became a nightmare, streets buried in ash and debris. People ran in terror. Sirens screamed endlessly. Footage from that day is chaos. Smoke, debris, fleeing crowds, and a city turned unrecognizable. Was Sneha among the terrified faces running for her life? Or was she somewhere else, unaware of the disaster outside? For families of the missing, the days after were agony, filled with smoke and uncertainty. Walls became memorials, covered in missing posters, pleas for help. Each poster told a story of heartbreak. Sneha's face was among them. Her photo, taped near Ground Zero, stared out with hope. Her family searched hospitals and morgues, hope fading with each hour. Two possibilities emerged. Did Sneha, a doctor, run toward danger to help? Did she die a hero, helping the wounded at the towers? Or did she use the chaos to disappear and start over? The tragedy blurred into mystery. For Sneha, the line between victim and vanished was never clear. The search for Sneha Philip became a painful, years-long ordeal for her family. They were trapped between grief and hope, unable to mourn without a body, unable to move on without answers. Her husband, Ron, and her parents clung to the belief that she had died a hero. They imagined her running into the lobby of one of the towers, her medical instincts taking over, trying to save lives until the very end. This was the Sneha they knew, caring, compassionate, and brave. It was a comforting thought in the face of an unbearable void, a narrative that gave meaning to their loss. But investigators saw a different picture, one filled with more questions than answers. They uncovered details about Sneha's life that suggested she might have been unhappy. There were the job troubles, the signs of marital stress, and reports of her frequenting bars alone. To them, the timing of her disappearance, the night before the attacks, was suspicious. It pointed away from a 9/11-related death and toward the possibility that she had chosen to leave. The police officially classified her as a missing person, separate from the victims of the terror attacks. This decision was a deep blow to her family, denying them the closure they so desperately sought. So the family took their fight to the courts. They wanted Sneha's name added to the official 9/11 victims list. The legal battle was long and emotionally draining. The courtroom became a stage where the intimate details of Sneha's life were laid bare. Courtroom sketches show her husband on the stand, his face etched with sorrow, recounting the last time he spoke to his wife. Lawyers argued over her state of mind, her shopping habits, her whereabouts on that fateful night. Was she a victim of circumstance, or the architect of her own vanishing act? The family's quest for recognition became a public trial of a woman who wasn't there to defend herself. Finally, in 2008, nearly 7 years after she disappeared, a judge made a ruling. Surrogate court judge Renee Roth listened to all the evidence, the competing theories, the heartbreaking testimony. She considered the location of their apartment, so close to the towers, and the chaos of that morning. She concluded that the most plausible explanation was that Sneha Philip had been trying to help. The judge reversed the police department's finding and officially declared that Dr. Sneha Philip had died in the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. She was victim number 2,751. For her family, it was a bittersweet victory, a legal end to an impossible mystery. But does a legal ruling truly solve a mystery? For some, the judge's decision brought a sense of finality. It placed Sneha among the heroes of that day, giving her family a place to grieve and a story to hold on to. Her name was etched into the bronze parapets of the 9/11 Memorial, a permanent tribute to a life cut short. She is remembered as a doctor who ran toward danger, a selfless act in the face of unimaginable horror. This is the official story, the one that provides a neat if tragic conclusion. It's the story many need to believe, and yet the questions linger, quiet but persistent. They hang in the air like the dust that once choked the city. What about the evidence that pointed to a different path? The personal struggles, the timing of her disappearance the night before, the fact that no physical trace of her, no DNA, no fabric from her clothes, was ever recovered from the debris at Ground Zero. Thousands of others were identified, but not Sneha. It's an unsettling detail, one that keeps the door to doubt slightly ajar. You can't help but wonder if there's more to the story, a chapter that remains unwritten. The case of Dr. Sneha Philip has become a modern urban legend, a ghost story for a city haunted by its past. She is two people at once, the heroic doctor who died saving others, and the troubled woman who may have seized a moment of global chaos to disappear forever. Both narratives are compelling, and both are impossible to prove. She exists in that gray area between fact and speculation, her story a reflection of our deepest fears and our most profound uncertainties. Her fate is a mirror, showing us what we choose to see, a hero, a victim, or a runaway. So what really happened to Dr. Sneha Philip? We may never know for sure. The truth vanished with her, lost somewhere in the smoke of that September morning, or perhaps on a quiet road leading far away from New York City. You can almost picture it, a lone figure walking down a rain-slicked street, the fog closing in behind her, swallowing her whole. She leaves behind only questions, a haunting silhouette against the backdrop of a national tragedy. A loving wife and dedicated doctor, or a woman who simply walked away? In the end, perhaps the only certainty is the loss and the endless, aching mystery she left behind.